Better just get ready. Hang on.
Yep.
And
Andy swallows.
Hey! And cut.
And thank you very much for listening.
Right, welcome to another episode of Driving Home. And on this one, we're just going to dive straight in. No intro or anything like that, because as always, we just make it up as we go along with essentially just a topic in our heads.
It's taken us a week to come up with this one.
It is getting difficult. You could do a podcast about literally anything. Obviously, with the flavour about maybe electric vehicle,
Electric-y
cars,
something,
YouTube,
car something. Yeah,
something. And you think, well, there must be a million topics out there, but...
It gets to a point you're going, no, we've done that. It's like, do you know what it is? It becomes like a Simpsons episode. Simpsons have done it.
Yeah, done that. Let's just do one that we've already done before and hope no one notices.
Yeah.
Right, so this is more of a personal thing. In terms of the YouTube channels we watch and
we're watching our spare time on YouTube.
I would say a good portion of the questions I get from people on the channel anyway is personal questions, about me, Lorna, cars obviously, but the house. It's generally about a more personal vloggy sort of thing as opposed to a car review or whatever. So this is kind of what the podcast gives us. It's almost like a
one-way conversation.
Is this what it's like to be like, I was going to say, my wife? One-way conversation, yeah.
Could be.
This is what it's like when she's talking to me.
Yeah. This is when you go...
Yeah. What was that?
What are we having for tea tomorrow?
She's told me 5 times already. Right, YouTube. I don't use YouTube, I think, how it's designed as much as it should. I have about 5 or 6 subscriptions. I generally go off the home thing.
Yeah, so, you were just saying that, yeah. I'm probably the other way around. I've got 150 subscriptions.
Yeah, and that's how I should realistically operate, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, I used to subscribe, for example, to Shmi. Occasionally dip into, but what I find is he does daily.
Should we jump into Shmi straight away? We've both subscribed to him, haven't we?
I mean, he does daily videos, and he always has done, which is fine.
Has he always done? Because
he has.
Because when I first started watching him, I can't remember it being daily.
For like 6 or 7 years.
Right, it was before then.
We're talking. He's been going like 11 years now.
It was maybe like 7 or 8 years ago when I started watching him. I think he was driving the BMW 1 Series.
Yeah.
And it was just more of him looking at supercars.
Clio, I think.
Did he? Wow.
Because he bought his original car back.
Did he buy his original car back? See, this is how much I haven't watched it.
I'm going back a while now. Yeah. But the reason I unsubscribed, and I guess this is why I sometimes do it for others as well, is because I'm only interested in maybe 10, 15, 20% of his videos. But the subscription line was just every single line had at least 1 or 2 of his videos, and it was just clutter.
You can't keep up with it.
No.
I haven't got... I mean, I've got 10 minutes a day to spend watching YouTube, which, toilet time, isn't it?
Depends how long your dumps glass for, yeah.
But I don't be watching Shmi for 10 minutes every day.
No, it's like, fully charged is exactly the same. I do subscribe to that because I like to keep an eye on things, of course. Yeah. And I watch the ones that interest me. But again, it's only probably I won't say a small proportion, but I don't know, 20% of the videos that fully charged put out, and they do, I think, 2 or 3 a week, I actually watch. And I think that's why I quite like the homepage.
Where you just get a good...
it's like TV. How many times do you watch normal telly and you go... Oh, Die Hard 4. I watched that for a while. Even though you got a catalogue of films, you spend 20 minutes going through your films, don't you? You're going, have I watched that? Shall I watch that? No.
Die Hard 4 would never get watched.
No, but then when it's on TV, you watch it, and it's the same sort of thing. I think the homepage for me is what I dip into the most. Yeah. And that's why I don't subscribe to a lot of them, because some of them don't, or should I say, do post too much up.
Yeah. I think the sweet spot, for me, the sweet spot on the channels that I seem to watch the most of are 2 a week. Under 20 minutes.
2, occasionally 3 at most, but 2 a week.
2 a week, under 20 minutes. I mean, I don't mind, if it's really interesting, I don't mind watching, like the Evo Car of the Year, I think was half an hour, 40 minutes. Yeah. I don't mind watching a bit more, than 20 minutes, but usually 20 minutes is enough.
I mean, it's again, if I think about my subscriptions, most of them are just dash cam channels.
Well,
because they're weekly, aren't they?
And it's just good fun to watch how... You watch a dash cam channel and you're not alone in the fact that you swear at idiots who just don't have a clue about how to navigate a roundabout.
Yeah, and that's something. And more often, it's the person behind the camera as well.
Oh yeah. Well, more recently it is. You're like, how if you just slowed down? Maybe it's me getting old. If you just slowed down just a little bit, you wouldn't be in any of those situations.
I'm trying to remember the one that
UK dash cameras.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's the one that comes out every Sunday.
Yes, and they have TWOT.
Yeah.
It's the comment sections, isn't it, that make it quite funny.
This one.
The something of the week.
Yeah.
And it's always a person who's put.
I go, do you know what it is? It's like Daily Mail. I go straight to the comments. Yeah. And you're like, someone will go, 6 minutes 59, and you straight in, 6 minutes 59, see who it is. Oh, it's Derek from Doncaster.
Yeah, it's him again. And you can't believe that some of these people actually send a clipping thinking the other person.
Look at these people undertaking me while I'm doing 40 mile an hour in the fast lane of a motorway.
Yeah. Or a roundabout that they're literally taking the racing line on, and then they wonder why somebody's pulled out in front of them.
Well, you do feel though. I mean, driving the car every day, I wish I could just stop time, get out of my car, and just go and sit in their car and talk to them about how a roundabout works,
or show them an aerial plan of why there are 2 lanes around this roundabout.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've just cut across, all the usual stuff.
How filtering works.
Yeah. Oh, God, filtering. Yeah. I mean, it's not so bad now because they've got rid of a few places that I used to use all the time. But, I mean, well, we all know it's like a zip, isn't it? The left car, then the right, then the left, then the right.
Please use both lanes.
Please do both lanes. But you always get some muppet, and there'll be someone listening to this right now, I guarantee,
who does it,
who pulls their car across both lanes because they think someone's been cheeky.
I can tell who it is. They used to own a BMW, but that wasn't twatty enough. So they want to drive now an Audi.
Yeah. I also find, though, to be honest, because that's the typical bloke Audi driver. Women in bigger cars tend to do that as well.
Because they feel a bit safe.
And I'm not being sexist with that. This is what I see. Just like the bloke in the Audi thing isn't sexist. I don't know what it is. It's like, oh, don't let him in. Oh, in couples, older couples, don't let him in, George. Don't let him in. He's trying to cut down, even though it says use both lanes on that sign there. Oh, stop him doing it.
I think that's it, yeah.
Oh, it infuriates me. In some ways, I don't know why I watch these dashcam things, because it infuriates...
Do you know what it is? I think it's nice to know it's not just you.
Like motorway cops.
Yeah.
I like watching motorway cops. But in terms of YouTube stuff, that is essentially most of my subscriptions. Johnny Smith. I
do, yeah. But
2 a week. That's enough.
Yeah, do you know... You tell me about the Johnny Smith stuff, and it doesn't come up on my homepage or on my subscriptions enough for me to see it. But when I do watch it, I'm like, do you know what a Johnny Smith video is? It's a Saturday morning in the bath. And I've got a bit of time to myself, laptop on, just sit there, hot tap on, watching a bit of Johnny Smith in the bath. Well, that's all though, nothing else.
More, if you ignore the car reviews and stuff, which is kind of, they're all generically the same.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean, because the one thing I like about Johnny Smith is a proper car nut. As in the interest is there.
He's done his research as well. Hasn't he?
He's done his
knows.
time. Yeah. He's a proper journalist. He's been on TV. He's done it all practically.
Nice tone to his voice as well. It's quite relaxing to listen to, I find.
Yeah, and you can tell he's done his research. But I quite like the fact that they're almost documentary-esque of the non-car reviews.
Is he the Louis Theroux of the car?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, like the barn find stuff.
Yeah.
That I think you watch more channels than I do. Is there anyone else doing that type of? I don't mean just like finding, oh, look what we've done and it's a one-off. I'm on about actually going to different barn finds, looking at it, knowing about the car.
Not so much.
There isn't really much out there, is there?
The thing is, there are a couple of YouTube channels that are doing that sort of thing, but it's not like they're doing that every week.
Well, no, neither is, but it's got a playlist for it.
Yeah, they certainly don't have a playlist for it. They might find one or two. Again, I'm finding what people call a barn find to becoming more and more of a barn find now is a car that's over 20 years old.
Yeah,
it's like, no, that's not.
It's not a barn find. People knew it were there the whole time. So again, twice a week, I think is optimum. I think if I ever went full time, twice a week would probably be the one, because you're doubling your output. In theory, you get more income, and of course, you're not. Because during lockdown,
you need good content though, don't you? You can't just, and it's difficult enough doing a podcast a week to find good content. I know you'd have more time.
Content.
Yeah, content. I know you'd have more time if it was a full time job, but still, I think the opportunities. I mean, especially when we, for instance, when we get the cars and stuff, the opportunities seem to come 4 or 5 at a time. And then nothing.
Well, we've got 2 this Saturday.
Yeah.
I've still got to finish off one that I'm doing on the TT, the detailing one.
Yeah.
I've got to do one for the tariff tomorrow, effectively, so I can put it up on Friday for the members. And yeah, I find it's almost like painting a house. You think, you know what, I'm going to take a few days off, or I'm going to take this entire weekend and just get a few done, and then next weekend I can actually do something normal. Because obviously Monday to Friday is work.
And you get home, don't you? And to be honest with you, he's tiring enough his work, isn't it? You need a bit of downtime.
Yeah. So yeah, it does come into business, but I think twice a week definitely is any more than that, because during lockdown, because we had a little choice. I remember we did a few live streams.
You did?
So there was the Friday video as normal, and then 2 other live streams, which I think was Monday and Wednesday. And people unsubscribed more than subscribed.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I was cluttering up their subscription time.
Probably it, yeah.
And obviously live streams is a bit, it's not as interesting. I'm sure if I do decent videos, which you couldn't do lockdown,
no.
then it might not have been as bad as that. But I think you can push it too far.
I think people, that's like going back to the whole 20-minute thing, don't they? People want 20 minutes of good content that they can either form an opinion about or agree with.
Or you have 10 minutes, like dashcams, 10-minute content.
Well, even dashcams, it's 30 seconds, changing every 30 seconds, isn't it? And it's, you can
pick up and put it down.
You certainly can, yeah.
I think YouTube was like, sim games.
Yeah.
So you're playing Sim City, you're not going to pick that up and put it down for 20 minutes, are you?
No, you don't.
I'm at that computer for hours if I used to play Sim City. Whereas
it's got dark.
Yeah. Call of Duty or something like that or whatever, I don't play. You can pick that up, play it for 10, 15 minutes, put it down again, can't you? And that's what I think the YouTube channel. Johnny Smith isn't the sort of person you could just watch a video. You get settled.
You get settled.
It's more of a TV programme than
I'd say so. It's more of a, you cast it to your TV and...
So is there anyone else that you would put in that more of a TV programme?
Ooh.
I mean, Fully Charged do some quite interesting documentary styly ones, but they are a bit formulaic. So I would still class them as a YouTube channel as opposed to something that could... I could see Johnny Smith porting over to a Netflix.
Are we talking level of production or just...
No, just something that could port over to Netflix. Forget the production, because obviously that would come with it. Where the content is interesting enough for a half hour or an hour programme.
I think Mr. JWW, when he started... I mean, I've not seen anything recently from him, but after he'd just started, he was bringing some really good content out. Good production values as well. But I've not seen him for a while. I know he's done quite a lot of writing, hasn't he, for GQ and stuff?
Well, yeah, I think sometimes...
It just sort of move on from there.
He doesn't have to do it, though. He doesn't have to.
He was recommended to do that via Shmee. Shmee was one of his friends. I said, you might be interested in doing a bit on YouTube.
He does a lot of consultations as Shmee, isn't he? So it's not surprising.
Yeah. Ed China?
See, I guess he's done the opposite. He's gone from TV to YouTube and done similar sort of stuff. But I do quite like those that have... did you ever watch Rich Rebuilds? The American Tesla guy. I mean, it's kind of gone off. I don't really watch it anymore now. But when he started taking a car and then over the period of a few weeks he'd redo it or fix it. Yeah. That stuff I find quite interesting.
I mean, the guy, the sort of people I watch over in the UK, there's a guy called TR Hamza. He tends to buy Mark 5 and 4 Golfs and stuff like that, and he does them up. So he'll do for stage 1, stage 2, big turbos, that sort of stuff. It's quite interesting to watch. He'll then sell them on. I'm just going to think though. I'll tell you what might make a good TV program: Car Throttle.
Yeah, although they're practically a
TV
media company, I guess. But yeah, I mean,
I've never watched one of them and gone, that would be rubbish.
Well, do you find that it's more of the person or people involved? Like Car Throttle, they're funny in it, and the content you would still watch it even if the content was pretty basic.
Who's your favourite one from Car Throttle, though?
The little one, I think.
The main guy.
Well,
I like the guy who doesn't know anything about cars.
It's like Rimmer and Lister.
Yeah.
One's likeable and the likeable chappy, and the one's the stiff sort of, bad analogy, but you get the point. So they're both in their own right quite funny, but I think. Again, I don't watch it enough, and I should probably watch it a bit more. But I quite like the fact that, and this helps with being a big channel and you got budgets. Let's take £1,000 or £10,000.
Well, look at the cars they buy,
and see what we can do with it. Or can we get a £1,000 car and drive it?
Did you see the Off-Course 500 one they did in Bangers?
Stuff like that, I guess. Yeah.
They bought a banger each. I think it was under £500, and they had to go and do the Off-Course 500 in it. And it was, you had a bit of your Top Gear bumping into each other and making a mess of stuff, which was, hilarious.
It's what people are wanting kind of now, because it doesn't exist anymore on TV, does it?
Well, no.
The new Top Gear for me, although it's better than the post trio one, it's still for me. I watched that. I watched more old original trio Top Gear again than I do the new stuff.
The scooter one.
Just loads, because the fact is, you know what? I keep on watching it thinking they're just emulating something. They're not trying anything unique. And I like Chris Harris.
Yeah. I
think he's a brilliant car person. And he, of course, was on YouTube.
It's come a long way. I mean, when he first started Top Gear, he was quite static. A bit, it looked like,
he didn't know how to do it all, did he? And he self-admitted.
Yeah, but he's come on. I mean, he's come on such a long way. And I've been watching Chris Harris and reading Chris Harris's reviews in Evo for as long as I can, as long as I can think.
What was is it Drive? The YouTube.
He was with he did stuff for Drive, and he had his own YouTube channel for a while
until he started Top Gear.
Yeah,
which presumably meant he had to stop
doing all that. Yeah,
because actually the most interesting thing I've seen about Chris Harris, because he's quite private, isn't he? He doesn't tend to was Johnny Smith's interview with him.
Yeah,
and that's the sort of thing. I think that's why he's quite unique. He's Johnny Smith because he knows so many people in the industry. Like
he's familiar with Farouk.
People talk to him.
Yeah.
You can ring him up and say, "Do you want to be on my channel?"
And they'll go,
and they will say yes.
I think the thing is as well, you can see him in the Chris Harris interview. He asks quite a lot of, what you class as personal questions. I
think he's a proper journalist. I think it's the difference between a YouTuber becoming a journalist.
Well, you found out about Chris Harris's family, about his mum being the driver.
The rally driver.
Yeah. Chris Harris said the best times were when my mum turned up in my dad's car.
Well, yeah. I mean, have you seen what? This is going a bit of an advert for bloody Johnny Smith's channel at the moment. But I've seen what he's started to do now. He's taken on or started to work with a biker.
Ah, right. Okay, got that covered.
Shane Byrne, I'm not sure how you pronounce Byrne. Yeah. So he's doing bike stuff on the channel because Johnny Smith isn't good at it. Right, he doesn't know bikes.
Well, yeah.
So he's expanded into something else, and again, I quite like the fact that I won't say it's not mainstream, but it's not niche. He's doing stuff that interests him, that other people who are car.
He's doing stuff that isn't the same. It's not the same cookie cutter approach.
Yeah.
What I tend to unsubscribe from is a lot of people I used to follow, and then they end up buying one supercar after another, and they end up getting here's my Lamborghini. Here's my 5 things I don't like about my Lamborghini. 5 things I do like about my Lamborghini. My Lamborghini is getting a new exhaust.
Should I replace my Lamborghini with a Ferrari?
Yeah, and then you watch that and you watch 3 months of it and they get the car just how they like it. And then they sell it and then they get something different. And you're going, do you know what? I'm bored. There's never going to be a chance I can afford a Ferrari. I can't relate to that. I prefer watching the T.R. Hamza stuff where he buys cars that I could probably afford.
Yeah. It's touring cars. I always prefer touring cars to anything else.
Because
even though they were nothing like the Mondeos and various other stuff, in your head you were watching cars that you saw.
As a 6-7-year-old, they drove you to school in the morning.
Exactly, yeah. So I quite like that, like you say, that attainable nature of it. And I think that's, I would say, a lot more YouTube car channels that are coming out now or that have been around for a year or two are very different from the stuff that 5-10 years ago. Because now it seems to be, we're turning something mundane into something special.
Yeah.
As opposed to just something expensive.
I think people like the journey of that as well.
Yeah.
You get
like the Rich Rebuild thing.
You've got an interest in it, haven't you? And again, with T.R. Hamza, he started off and he paid people to do stuff, and he's learned how to do it himself now. Not everything, but quite complicated things, and you get to see him doing it, and it's quite interesting to see somebody who's picked up these skills. And I suppose at the end of it, when he sells the car, if you do subscribe to it, you probably got a chance of buying it off him.
Well, yeah, I guess. So effectively, he's taken the formulaic cookie cutter from the Ferrari,
done it with
attainable cars, and then moved on, and attainable modifications, if that's your sort of thing.
Yeah.
So let's change yours slightly then.
Okay.
Do you subscribe or watch with any semi-regularity anything that's electric vehicle related, given the topic that we're on at the moment?
Well, no, I don't know, to be honest with you. No, I watch car channels.
Yeah.
And if electric vehicles are on there, or if there's an electric vehicle that's certainly, something that I'm really interested in.
And the lots of Aura comes up.
Yeah, then I'll watch that.
So that's just a car interest?
Yeah, so recently I've been watching a lot of videos from people that I know, like, Harry Metcalf, that sort of stuff, about the electric Mini.
Yes.
Because of the people that I trust who appreciate a car for a car rather than a car for being an electric car.
The 3 people that are on YouTube who I would, if you had personal access to someone, I want their opinion on it, would be, I guess he's no longer on YouTube, Chris Harris. Harry Metcalf and Johnny Smith.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Yeah.
Because they're all well in the field of cars, has done for many years, complete and total nutters in the fact they've all probably got 20 cars each or at least several. It's taken over their life. It's not just a job.
And I think the thing is they understand the car for the things other than what most people get from them. It's the dynamics of it. It's how it makes you feel.
It's a passionate thing.
Even how it makes you feel. Yeah. You can have a car that drives awfully, but it makes you feel really special.
Well, there were
Alfa Romeos.
Well, funny you mentioned that. It was the Drive Tribe channel, and there were James May talking. I've showed you it briefly, I think. Talking about. They were responding to his own comments that he's got through videos and going, "What's this mean?" And someone mentioned electric cars, and he literally said, "Why are people so offended with electric cars? Just don't buy one." Blah blah blah.
Oh, that's what started our podcast, didn't
we? Yeah. But he said cars. He went on to journalist, and he said he's kind of bored of this. What we call just churning out the brochure.
Yeah.
And he said cars are a passionate thing. Yeah, it's something that
you've got a connection to it.
You will get involved in the car. It's not just facts and figures and numbers.
Yeah. Look how much money
it's an emotional product.
Look how much money a car costs you. I bet I spend more time shopping for a car than I do for my next house.
Yes. Well, it's true, isn't it? Yeah. People go to, and this is what I can understand if you're not interested.
You won't test drive your house for a weekend, will you? But you'll ask if you can get a weekend's test drive in the car. True. Do you mind if me and the missus just go up and use your bedroom?
Well, yeah, it is true, isn't it? You do buy a house with effectively 2 or maybe 3 if you're lucky. 10, 15 minute walk around.
Walk around, and then pay somebody to make sure the house isn't going to fall to pieces.
But I mean, certainly if you're looking at the used market.
Well, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I think me and you probably spend... I sometimes spend an hour or 2 a day just flicking through. I
have a few searches on Auto Trader that I keep on checking.
Just going...
like the TT. Just keeping an eye on the market because obviously we've got one. And it's like, still none for sale.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Or you find one and it goes, wow, they're asking like 12 grand for that. Brilliant. But that's part of the research, I guess, that you continuously do. But that's the interest in it.
Yeah.
And... the channels that I don't mind, they need to exist because a lot of people watch them. But like the Auto Express, What Car, which, again, I used to watch them a lot because, you trust them, and I do trust them, but it is literally regurgitating the brochure.
I don't know. The thing is, I don't need to know how many litres fit in the boot. I need somebody to open the boot and then put, like, some shopping in it.
We never do that.
Yeah, no, but somebody else does it.
That's true.
Yeah. To put, like, some shopping in it, or a suitcase in it, I'll just open it up and go... Yeah, you're going to get a suitcase or 2 in here and a pushchair.
Yeah, but you never get any personality across it because they're all 7 or 8 minutes. So it's clearly for a reason.
They're all journalists.
And there's no opinion on it apart from maybe 30 seconds at the end. You go, well, it seems to handle quite well. You'll find that the WLTP range of this is blah, 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 and it'll charge at blah, blah, blah. And look, it will seat 5 people. It's got this much power. You were just reading the press release.
It's almost like I'm screaming at the monitor going... What do you think of it? If I wanted to get all that information, I could download the PDF.
Yeah, but I can see why. Because a lot of people will watch it that aren't interested in cars. They only want a 6-7 minute video, giving them the basics. So it fills a purpose.
The thing is, though, if you're looking at getting a car and one's got a 380 litre boot, one's got a 400 litre boot, it's not top trumps, is it? One of them might be really shallow. It's like,
or a weird shape.
Yeah. Got the wheel arches coming in or something like that.
Yeah.
It's I think that's how CarWow did so good. I mean, I subscribed to CarWow.
CarWow for me is the best, what I'd call large automotive.
He's got an opinion, though, hasn't he?
Yes.
And
he's very good.
He's very good, yeah. And he'll do stupid things with it that, I don't know, 0 to 60s of all the cars in the category, stuff like that.
He's got a following now, don't it? There's common stuff that's happening in each video.
Yeah.
And he's quite funny, and he's
got a personality.
Yeah.
In an industry where there tends not to be one.
No, and I think that's what...
Can we say that? We're going to get invited to anything. They won't be listening to this.
The manufacturers, they invite us, not the industry.
Good.
But no,
industry awards.
Yeah. No, for me, that is what I would call going out. It's old school.
Yeah.
Like magazines.
Well, yeah, this is it.
I mean, the amount of times I went to... in fact, you know what? I'm going to do this as a separate podcast. The YouTuber versus... or influencer versus the media thing.
Write it down because I'll forget.
I'm going to put that down now. Yeah.
I'll just re-listen to this.
Yeah.
How far into it? 25 minutes.
25 minutes in, right. Because what I was going to say is that there's a definite divide there in terms of YouTube is seen as, like we call it, toilet TV. But I've noticed so many journalists, proper journalists, coming over to YouTube.
Well, Tiffany Dell.
Yeah, Tiffany Dell, Johnny Smith, I guess, to a point, although, he was on media end. But I'm talking about what I'd call the automotive journalists doing the magazines.
Yeah.
The ones that basically would not talk to us when we went to various events. And it's like you're beneath them. And now they're all coming over to the dark side. Yeah. Which is making me chuckle.
How can I make this look a little bit more amateur? Well, it's good to come and chat to us. What you need is just one camera.
But you know what? I think a lot of people, and I go off, I look at the comments and I listen to most of them. And a lot of them, I think if you went to high production levels, it'd just become another thing.
Well, it's the thing, isn't it? We're going a bit off topic here, but it's a thing of saying, well, do we get a drone? Well, you can't ever make a drone look like it's Top Gear drone. So if we had a drone following an electric car, what is that going to add to the video?
Yeah, what's the narrative of that being there?
Yeah, a drone would be nice if, for instance, we had one just by off chance and we could use it for a bit. But
if we were in Scotland and said, look at the views, so all of a sudden the reason for the drone is to show you the views. Or if you went, from the top down, this car looks awesome.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But that's one thing which I find a lot of new YouTube channels starting now. I'm talking about proper young ones now. It's like, stop trying to be 50
they get the drone following the car on the side shot. And it's,
I remember being at Fully Charged not Fully Charged, Goodwood talking to a couple of new YouTubers and they were basically saying, they were talking between them, I could hear them, and talking about what cameras to use. Oh, I've got this 4 camera. I'm thinking of getting this one that does like 360 degrees. Yeah. And I'm thinking,
get your content sorted.
Out before you worry
Tell
about...
you what, forget all that. Get a good microphone. Yeah. Any camera.
Yeah, as long as it's... I mean, the one thing I would say, though, is that the gimbal has really made a big difference. Yeah. Because before you thought, well, I'll just have to put it on a static stand to keep it, because it is quite annoying if someone's holding it and walking it along.
It was a game changer. I think the first time we had that was Goodwood last year, wasn't it? And we walked through Electric Avenue. We did it in one take, but one take about 10 times just to get the acoustics right and stuff. And it was faultless. And even when sometimes when I'm filming from the outside of you talking, I'll trip or stumble over a rock or over a stone or I'll judder. And I'm thinking that's got to have affected it. And looking back on it, it's like, nah, it didn't. It just stayed still.
But that is, for me, once you're happy with what you're churning out.
Well, make sure you've got some...
Or if you've got money to spend.
Yeah, if you've got money to spend. But yeah, I think making sure you've got at least some subscribers, people watching, build that base first.
I suppose it's sometimes thinking, I wonder if I'd get more views if I did 4K.
Yeah.
No, you won't. I guarantee it. You won't. It depends on what I'm getting. People will... You might get the odd first click, but then they just won't watch you again. And for me, that makes people less likely to come back.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a small trickle or increase of people coming that stay than a massive viral video where half of the people will never come back to you again. Yeah, because it said 4K and
I think the thing is
Tesla
you've got
this.
A good subscription base, and it's people that are interested in just exactly this thing.
Exactly.
You wouldn't want to get 10,000 subscribers because you filmed something funny with a car that wasn't electric, car related. It's a niche thing you've got, and it's only going to get more and more because eventually,
Well, a lot of these car channels now, like your What Cars and that, half of them are just electric. Electric cars now just become a car.
Yeah, which is
why I'm never getting invited to anything anymore, because all the main channels are treating electric cars as cars, so they're getting them all first. Whereas a few years ago, there were only me and a couple of other people doing them. So I got invited to everything, and now I get invited to nothing. Ironically, the bigger I've got, the less I'm getting invited to. But yeah, it's just how it is. But in terms of... we really have gone off topic on this one, haven't we?
Let's go back to YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
I just thought of somebody else who would make the transition from YouTube to TV quite good. A fella called Sideways Sid.
See, he doesn't seem to do much.
He doesn't do much, no, he doesn't. But when he does, he there's just something about him. He's almost got that Chris Harris sort of approach to things. I mean, he does get some nice cars. Look at that. There's the Eagle Speedster, which is
the F-type thing.
Yeah.
E-type thing.
It is an amazing driver. Only very young as well, I think. He's only in his early 20s. But if he got into production or he knew, I think it's that thing of knowing a guy. I think he could quite easily be, a Top Gear presenter of the future.
He knows a few people, doesn't he, in the industry, I believe.
I think...
Which has a major advantage.
I can't remember if I saw a video of him actually with Chris Harris drifting somewhere and they were having a bit of a laugh together. But yeah, I mean, just his passion for cars, and he's not afraid to say he don't like it. Which I think you've got to be able to do, haven't you, if you're testing cars?
Well, Chris Harris did that, didn't he?
Was it Ferrari who wouldn't give him a car?
Ferrari, he said this Ferrari's crap and Ferrari won't give him a car for years. I don't know if they are now. Well,
I'm guessing they're going to have to, aren't they? If he's part of the BBC now.
Yeah. But I think that's what you have to be. The day you do a positive... I mean, I don't know. I'd love to see the video that he said it was crap. Because I'm pretty sure...
I don't think he said it was crap.
It was
it California? I think it was a Ferrari California.
I mean,
they are crap.
I've sort of semi-learnt, if you will, over the years that if a car is bad, it's usually good for some bits, and if like it's too expensive or the build quality. We'll go back to the typical one, the ID3. We never said that was bad, but people picked up on the fact that we're like, this isn't good enough.
Yeah.
And I think it's that thing. We were positive, but also realistic.
It didn't meet our expectations, I guess, and it was meant to be the third take of Volkswagen, so to speak, and this is the
third epoch. Yes, after the GTI, the Beetle, and then the ID3.
I mean, it's a big act to follow, isn't it?
People decide if something is the next golf thing
or the next Beetle.
It's coming out and saying it doesn't make it so. Yeah. Just because it happened to be electric, that doesn't mean it's going to be.
You're all going to really like this.
And it isn't. It's just it's an electric Golf. It's equivalent, so it's never going to be...
Maybe until they do bring out the GTI version,
But it'd have to be something proper special. Look at what they're doing with the Golfs
It's too heavy. It's too heavy to be a GTI. Until they can get the weight down on it, it's just going to be a big, old, cumbersome machine. Yeah. I mean, it's not... As a family vehicle...
a good
apart from the armresty things,
But I think it's... You just have to be honest. Which is why I don't really like watching the what cars and what, because they never give you an opinion on the car.
No.
And the worst I've ever seen, or the best I've ever seen, whichever you look at it, is personally I'd go for the other one because it's a bit cheaper and it gives you more space.
Yeah.
It's like there is no opinion on this at all, and it's like, well, that's why I think Car Wow works, because he literally says,
Can you imagine
what's this here?
Can you imagine doing blind date like that? This is her cubic capacity.
Her statistics are this, and this.
Yeah. What's the personality like? What do you need a personality for? Well, I'm going to be living with it every day.
It?
Look at the car.
All right. I'm going to say, let's just clarify that.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's why some channels I'm put off, which is why a lot of Tesla-based channels, which I don't subscribe to any of them, annoy people so much, because a couple are, granted, but the majority of them are so, everything's brilliant. It's the Lego movie. Everything is awesome. There's nothing wrong.
How you're going to quickly run out of content to do with a Tesla channel, if it's just about Tesla?
They somehow manage it, though. Oh, look, the new version of Autopilot, version 22, 11. Yep. Let's see how it copes on these roads. And
it's trying to take me off an off-ramp.
Yeah, so, I can get why people do it, because, quite frankly, most of the Tesla channels turned up years ago, and, until recently, because of the Tesla referrals.
Yeah, and then...
You end up getting a free Tesla if you had 50 referrals.
That's not a bad way of doing it, is it?
That's why there are loads of Tesla channels out there.
How many Teslas would you have now if that was the case?
Oh, I haven't checked for ages. Let me check it now. But I would have had a free car by now.
Wow.
I should have bought a Tesla. Yeah, I should have bought a Tesla ages ago, purely if I'd have known about this.
Yeah, it'd have
been worth stretching the finances to get a Tesla just so I can have a referral. Yeah. So where have they moved it all?
They've changed it.
Where's the loot box gone?
Have they done a supermarket thing where they moved all the aisles?
I found it. At the moment, it doesn't actually tell me how much. I'd have to count them all, but I've got just under 59,000 free supercharger miles.
Wow.
So, given the fact I've used some, I must have at least 60 odd.
It'd be nice if you can't, can you? But if you could share them between people.
I've said this time and time again. If I could have just give a couple of thousand away, a couple of thousand.
Yeah.
I'm never going to come close to using this. I mean, they expire April 30th, 2023. So I've got to do 58,000 miles in that car.
I mean, it's not like we can travel to Russia and back.
Well, no, exactly. I mean, the amount of times we're going to for the third year on the trot, we're going to drive to Norway and back, and it's like even that I'm not sure. Mainly for the COVID reasons.
Yeah.
But I think that has to be done before them supercharger miles disappear.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Or we'll just go around Europe or something.
Dear Lorna, I've gone to North Cape. I'll be back soon.
See how quickly I can do it there and back. So have you got any non-car
related? So somebody I follow and watch his every video is a fella called Bald and Bankrupt.
He doesn't do many, does he?
He doesn't do many, no. He's a travel vlogger, and it's quite topical. He mainly travels around the former Soviet Union.
Yes, because I've just watched, which I think is I've seen a couple of his in the past, but by passing. I just watched his yesterday for Leave, the one you sent me.
The Leaving Kiev.
And it was filmed, 2 days? Well, basically.
It was filmed over, so now we're on a Tuesday. This was filmed over the first weekend of bombing, so Saturday he left.
So third day into the invasion.
Yeah.
So he was leaving Kiev
on the
third day of the invasion.
Yeah.
So again, very interesting.
It was one that I watched it, and honestly, it pulled at my heartstrings. I felt like I was almost there on the train with all these, all the poor people just having to leave. It honestly reminds me of things you see in videos from like 1930s Europe of people just with a suitcase. Lots of, mothers with the children and very few.
Well, like he said in that video, he had a suitcase with him.
Yeah.
He was carrying everything he had with him to his apartment in, I think, Prague.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing, but that's all they've got now.
Yeah, that's all they've got, yeah.
They're leaving behind probably rubble.
Yeah.
Instead of a house or even a house.
Leaving their houses, their belongings, their life. The plans for the future, the savings.
Well, imagine if everything, our jobs, if you like, the YouTube channel, the house, the cars, all gone.
All gone, yeah, just in the blink of an eye. I mean, it's that thing of having what most, from what I've seen on watching his channel and others, most Ukrainians thought it would never happen. They thought it's just Russia flexing, so to speak.
Well, yeah, but that's for another podcast, but no, I even before any of this happened, you've watched him for a long time.
I've watched him for a long time, yeah.
Because like you said,
an interesting. I've never had
Louis Theroux-esque.
Yeah.
Because he interviewed, didn't he, like one of the worst gangsters in Russia. He went and had drinks with him.
He did, yeah, and went around his house.
So the people in Russia tend to gravitate. I don't know if they know him or they trust him.
I think some of them know him because I've seen where people
Russian.
Yeah. There is a rumour that his former army, and obviously we've been speaking Russian. Who knows if he worked as in Russia or all that sort of stuff. But I think the thing with him is he's quick to knock down people's barriers that they put up, and he'll go into the worst places in cities and the worst place in the country, and just say to people, "Is it dangerous here? Who can I talk to?" And he'll talk to people who would probably say were very dangerous, but they're always very nice. Invite him into his home, that sort of thing. It's a nice thing to watch.
Part of the world you wouldn't normally have access to.
Yeah,
I think that's quite.
And it's such a difference to how we live over here. It's just quite nice to see. Another one.
I know you watched the Takeaway guy, don't you?
Oh yeah, I forget his name.
He's
from round here, isn't he?
From round here.
Yeah, big guy.
Just basically goes and tries different takeaways all the time.
Yeah, just because I don't watch him so much now, but it's just nice to watch because it's inoffensive TV, isn't it? You're watching some guy eating a takeaway, some fat guy eating a takeaway, and he's loving it.
Well, like the tribal thing.
I'm just trying to find that. Is it tribal people eat or something like that? Or tribal people try. I'll have a look on my home screen because it's bound to be here. Tribal people try. Found purely by accident. and it's basically, I think it's 3 or 4 guys that live in Pakistan, in the tribal areas in Pakistan, and what they do is they give them new food to try that they've never tried before. And my favourite one was them trying a cheesecake for the first time. And they're just going,
that one, yeah.
Well, it's cheese on here.
Yeah. So this is people who they're aware of the modern world, but they tend to live in what you would call tribal areas.
Yeah. So they're aware of the modern world, and just they're such humble people, and all of them are different. And it's just they've got 4 very different people. And it's just nice to watch them react to try.
It's like saying, "Here's a cheesecake," and they've never genuinely had the cheesecake, or a Big Mac before, or a.
Well, they had a chili for the first time, and they couldn't believe that you had a chili without having it in with a chapati or a roti. And they're going, "It's nice, but I think I need a roti for this."
Yeah, and he's put it in something.
Yeah.
Because that's how we used to eating it.
And he's watching them go, ooh, it's hot.
But it's bizarre, isn't it, when you think about it, that you've probably spent hours of your life, and I've watched quite a few as well, of just people eating.
Yeah, no.
What are we doing?
Well, another one that I got into for a while was a guy who travelled around like Taiwan, Japan, having street food, market food.
I'm sorry, I watched that 2 days ago.
What? Digging the secret?
Two to the left.
That one?
YouTube just knows, doesn't it? It was the Harry Enfield thing when he finally...
Kevin becomes a man. And he gets off on the next one. Hello, Mum.
He popped up about 2 days ago. The YouTube algorithm is just genius.
I guess it's because we watched a lot. I mean, there's also a lot of things on here about the Ukraine
Well, yeah, they have a news section, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I another one I watched, actually, I'm pretty sure you've watched at least some of the Corridor Crew.
Yeah.
That they tell you about special effects and stunts in films.
Yeah.
This is how they've
Break
done
the
it.
illusion.
But again, the reason why they're so interesting is because A, they're massively passionate about it, and B, they get people from the industry come to talk to them about it. And I think that's the difference, isn't it? If either the person's got the knowledge or they get someone with the knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's why I think stuff like this works quite well.
Well, it's interesting as well because they'll show you a fight scene and you're just like, how will I think there's one from The Raid where he falls through a door, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And they're like, how does he not impale himself on the debris? Yeah. And they're like, there must be a mattress there. There's a green mattress or something that
and then they eventually figure it out.
Yeah, figure out how to do it. And it's like, I guess when you're watching some films like that, you're impressed with the choreography and the fight scene. But then to pick it to pieces, it's genius.
Well, yeah, it's like what was it? I think it was Captain America's Civil War.
Yeah.
And they're running in the car. There's a big car chase scene.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bit where Black Panther or whatever, basically they're running, and clearly they're very fast.
Yeah.
And do you know how they did that? So they've got cars genuinely driving along, and they're running, but they have to be running as fast as the cars.
They didn't drag a big bit of carpet behind the car.
Yeah. So they're dragging the carpet behind and running on the carpet at the same time.
I think the balance you're going to have.
Well, yeah, but they said they just did it and incrementally increased the speed. And they were doing about 20 mile an hour.
Wow.
But basically, that entire scene, it took something like 2 months.
Just to do that bit?
Just to do like 3 or 4 minutes worth of it. I think it was 2 months or 2 weeks. It was a long time, basically, for what is effectively a few minutes of footage.
I mean, we'd have 3 podcasts done.
But and it's like, I never knew how, I always thought that, when someone gets pushed through glass or jumped through glass in a film, and you think, well, it's obviously not glass, it's that sugar.
Yeah, sugar glass, yeah.
But they said even then, you jump through that, it's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt, yeah, you got to break it.
But what I didn't realise until then is that it said what happens is a split second before someone jumps through it, there's a charge.
That's it, breaks it.
So somebody's there, basically, and it shatters just before they hit it.
Yeah.
And, they did it in slow-mo, and it showed it shatter just before the person touched it.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that. I never knew.
Well, you'd afterwards you go, bang, oh, my head.
Yeah. But and I think that's, in whatever it is, whether it's cars or films, I quite like stuff that tells you how things work.
Well, I think of it as a car review, it's quite nice when somebody goes, oh, these are all the little hidden gems that you won't necessarily see on a car.
Yeah. And why they did it.
Why is there so many triangles on this car? Well, I can tell you a little about that.
Yeah.
How come there's cork down here?
Yep. Well, another one I watched is called B1M.
Oh, right. Not that BDSM.
It's basically a building channel.
Oh, right, okay.
But we're talking a big sort of project, like New York are building a massive subway under the thing. How does it work? and they'll do it in detail. How was London regenerated, or a big build, skyscrapers, how were they built? But they'll go into detail.
Yeah.
And and mega projects, if you will. And it's that sort of thing that I quite like a lot of them, because it gives you detail. Like I said, I think it's from years from playing of SimCity and things like that as well. And I watch quite a lot of football-related YouTube stuff as well, which obviously you're not a football fan here, but
no.
But I would say that I would say cars are the predominant.
I say another one that isn't a car one is I do like people like urban explorers. People exploring abandoned buildings.
Oh, what's that website called?
There's the 28 days later. Yeah,
same as the film.
Basically, it's
the title.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah.
So this is the proper people, and they go mainly around America, but they've been all over the world to look at abandoned buildings of various descriptions.
Yeah.
They went to one in China, and all the abandoned buildings in China have security like outside the building. And they couldn't get in, they couldn't break in because of security.
Like China, would you?
So they went up to the security guard, and in the best way, using a translator, an app on their phone, and bad English, they explained that they come all the way from America to look at this, and they had done. They come all the way to America to look at this building. I think it was an old hotel, but it was a majestic hotel that had been probably had someone stay there for about a couple of years, and it was empty. And the security guard took them round. So. Yeah. You come in, and they let them go for a while, and he said, "Oh, you just come back out."
Yeah.
And they got the tour of the hotel. But yeah, really interesting stuff. Usually their videos are longer than 20 minutes, up to around an hour. But yeah, really interesting following.
Do you find that your habits, and I mean the entire world is doing this, so I think I already know the answer, that I spend more time. And not just because I do the channel, but I spend more time watching YouTube than what I would call...
telly.
Yeah, streaming / telly stuff.
Well, it's got to the point now where, I don't have a TV licence. I don't watch live TV at all. I don't stream any BBC services or anything like that. I just have Disney, Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff I watch on YouTube. And I find probably that I watch more on YouTube and just cast it to the TV.
Well, I know Alice...
Yeah, kids don't watch live telly, do they? I mean,
well, there are certain programs that she started to get into. If Lon's watching Death in Paradise, she'll watch that. Yeah, so there are certain programs on what you call normal TV, but essentially, I would say 70% of what she watches is YouTube.
YouTube, yeah, because you can just. I mean, the danger of YouTube, I guess, is that it can become a bit of an echo chamber. So if you do have views that are quite one way or another, it'll just affirm those ideas that you have.
Yeah. But in Minecraft videos and Roblox videos.
Well, oh God, children unboxing toy videos. Yeah. I once caught my daughter watching some kid in Korea unboxing LOL dolls. I'm like, speaking in Korean.
Well, is it any different from us watching somebody fix a car? Oh God! If YouTube started doing that level of thing, I'm not even going to go there.
But the adverts will just do your head in.
You know what? I've actually just renewed for the first time ever because I had 3 months worth of YouTube.
Oh, have they got you?
I can't go back to adverts again. It does.
Do you get a discount because of the membership?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, go heck. That's the annoying thing, isn't it? You think you'd be able to. I mean. The only way you can watch members' videos is by paying for them. You're in them.
I pay to watch me a week early.
Because there's no way for me to give anybody a membership.
No.
And I can understand why.
You'd have to share your log on effectively.
Yeah, they're losing revenue, I guess, is why.
Yeah.
But it's like, But no, Alice or Lon, well, Lon doesn't really watch it, but Alice has adverts, of course. And if we're using hers, watching whatever, together, football, she's into a football as well. I'm like, oh God, I forgot about these adverts on YouTube. I'm like,
and you know what? Getting worse.
£12. They are, and £12 a month is
plus than your TV license.
Well,
that's why I jacked in my TV license.
Yeah,
so I was like, I hadn't watched telly for years and years, so it's just one of those things. I only watch Netflix really.
You know what? I think we need one more opinion because. It's something they've been wanting, as we're near the end of this podcast, they've been wanting to come on the podcast for some time. Somebody
famous?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I think it's someone who is effectively an expert on watching YouTube.
Well, yeah, effectively, yeah. I think
Genuinely so.
Yeah. Probably more experience of watching YouTube than us combined.
Probably, yeah, given the amount of time when, you do nothing but watching YouTube.
Have they got enough time in their busy schedule to come in and see us?
I'm pretty sure that... what's that noise? Here we go. Now, I don't know, you're going to have to come here because of the microphone. Okay. So, what we're doing, we're talking about YouTube in terms of the channels we watch ourselves. Okay. And what do you watch on YouTube? Do you watch any... In fact, no. Do you watch any car-related YouTube stuff?
No.
Do you subscribe?
No.
Do you subscribe to mine?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. At least you do that then. So you don't watch any car-related stuff. Do you watch anything home energy-related?
No.
What do you watch then? What type of channel? I mean, not specifically.
I watch like people playing like Minecraft or Sims, something like that.
Oh, you're well into.
Do you play your Sims and
4.
Minecraft at the same time, or just watch them play?
Sometimes.
Every time, because you're always using my bloody laptop for it. Anytime you're on Sims 4, you've always got your phone next to it, playing a video.
Multitasking, isn't it? I mean,
exactly.
How did we cope with just playing Sims, SimCity, and not having that? Did we for telly on?
Probably did, to be fair. When I was old enough to get a TV in my own room, there was probably a TV on whilst I was playing something, if I'm honest.
I think, to be honest with you, when I got a TV in my room, I always thought, I wonder why my parents did it. But I'm guessing it's because they never saw me. It's going to cost 130 quid, but we'll never see him. Yeah, let's go and get it now.
That's the bargain, is that? EVK, whilst you're on this podcast, is it just that then, Minecraft, Roblox? I mean, why YouTube and not TV? Because you watch normal TV a bit, don't you?
Do.
But if you could only watch TV, so basically anything on the television downstairs or YouTube, you could only watch one of them, but like for the next year. Which would you go for?
TV.
Really?
You go for TV over YouTube?
Yeah.
Is that because you've done YouTube to death?
Have you completed it? I think you've got like a medal from YouTube, haven't you?
That's why I like it when I find like a new YouTube channel, because then I could just like...
Do you binge watch?
Yeah,
when you find a new one, do you binge watch it?
Usually.
So this is a completely different way of consuming stuff that we have to work at.
What do you like about YouTube? Is it, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is it that you can just pick it up and watch it there and then? Or is it the shorter episodes?
I don't really mind. I like watching YouTube shorts though.
The YouTube shorts?
If they had YouTube shorts, the 30-second ones, yeah.
Some of them.
So your attention span is really, really bad.
Yeah.
But well, that's quite interesting actually. YouTube
Maybe
shorts.
You should do more shorts.
I've never done a YouTube short. But isn't YouTube short just people taking 30-second clips of existing videos?
Or a minute.
Maybe we could do a car review in 30 seconds.
We'll try and do that with this weekend.
I think that'd be hilarious.
You can put it on time lapse.
Well, no, I think it needs to be a car review in 30 seconds. We get all the points that we'll do the 20-minute one as well.
Yeah.
But I think we'll do should we try and do that?
YouTube 30 short.
Second.
Can you go to what's the maximum?
I think it's a minute.
Do you know what?
I have a YouTube channel and I'm asking 11-year-old about YouTube. So, well, yeah, I think that's an idea, is that? So, this for
60 seconds is the maximum time for YouTube short. All right. And gets that from my mum.
No, that's a smart ass. So, effectively, you're into, YouTube, but you prefer TV. I find that quite interesting.
Yeah,
that's quite recent, though, isn't it? Because I don't typically find you downstairs watching TV. You've always got your phone. I mean, you've got an iPad, like my old iPad, but instead of watching that bigger screen iPad, you're always on your phone.
Do you watch your phone as well that way, so you've only got the smaller screen, not it's in portrait or landscape?
If I'm watching like a YouTube video, I watch it like
landscape.
Yeah, that's because I kept on having a go at her for watching it. Why do you turn your phone that way? It's a bigger screen!
Another thing as well, when you're using your phone, talking to somebody, do you talk to somebody on the phone as I would say normally, or do you hold the speaker to your ear on loudspeaker for them to talk into your ear and then hold the speaker then to your mouth?
You don't really...
You don't do much.
You haven't called anyone really, have you?
I do it to my ear.
Goodness for that.
The only time I see you talking to someone else on the phone is by like FaceTime or WhatsApp video calling. Yeah. Right, so basically what we're saying in terms of YouTube, you don't watch You just subscribe to me. You don't watch my videos, do you?
I sometimes do.
Are you a paid subscriber?
What was the last... She's not old enough to be on YouTube. What am I on about?
YouTube Kids.
Yeah. She's yeah. So what was the last video you watched of on EVM? Come on then. To prove that you watch it, what was the last one you watched?
It wasn't the solar panel one, was it?
No.
No? Well, what was it then? I
mean...
You don't watch it at all, do you? You're making it up.
It's like... You mean like... watch a recent video or watch an old video
What was the last video you watched on my channel?
All times.
I mean, I watched...
Probably the last one you were on.
I watched an old video recently.
Which one?
The one where we got the Tesla.
Oh, the one where you're in it, you mean?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, there you go, yeah.
All right then. Well, thank you for that insight. I think we're ready to wrap up.
Yeah. I think we got through some there, didn't we?
And this podcast has given us an idea for a YouTube thing.
Yes.
It's short.
60-minute car
60-second review.
60-second.
Is this the new thing? 60-second car reviews.
I think so.
Do you like people have like 2-minute recipes and stuff, like 2-minute teas?
Can we do it like in the sort of the style of one of those American adverts? It goes...
where you just speed the audio?
Yeah.
So we do it as quickly as possible and then squeeze it into 1 minute.
To speed the audio up just a tiny bit.
That'll sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah. I think we've got to do that.
Okay, well, this was a very random, but I think that suits podcast.
I think it's been quite a good one. It's been a naturally flowing podcast.
Yes, as always, use my Twitter handle at EVManUK for any feedback.
For all three of you that are listening.
Well, so far we've done 2 podcasts and I've had 3 tweets.
I think what we need to do is
people that bothered.
If you want a shout out.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to shout out on the podcast, let's see who's
listening. That'd be quite
especially if you're not in the UK.
Yeah.
I want to know where you are and proof that you've listened to it, like a screenshot of your phone or something.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, they must have listened to it if they're knowing.
They know it is,
if they've heard this, they've listened to it.
Damn my logic.
Right, okay, well, one last minute with no preparation. What's the final word?
Skids.